Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey Mitchell re-signs with the Indiana Fever. So the best backcourt in the WNBA is back.
The best backcourt in the WNBA remains intact because Kelsey Mitchell is back, staying with the Indiana Fever and going back-to-back with that.
Why does major news always seem to break when no one is paying attention? Well, this one is massive. Kelsey Mitchell has officially re-signed with the Indiana Fever, securing her place as a franchise cornerstone. From the moment she stepped onto the court at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, Mitchell's time with the Fever has been impactful, memorable, and historic. Mitchell pulls up for three, she's got it. If you thought this was a predictable move, think again. As an unrestricted free agent, Mitchell had options. Some WNBA insiders even speculated she might walk away. But she's staying in Indiana, and this move makes a bold statement about the Fever's future. So, what does this mean for Mitchell, the team, and the league? Let's talk about it.
The moment Kelsey Mitchell stepped on the floor at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, her time with the Indiana Fever has been memorable, impactful, and historic. Mitchell, she'll pull up. Here's a three.
All right, let's break it down. Kelsey Mitchell is staying with the Indiana Fever, and if you follow the WNBA, you know how big this is. This isn't just about one player staying put. It's about what it signals for the Fever, the league, and the future of women's basketball. Some might say this was expected, but expected
And the Fever posted, in 7 short years, Kelsey Mitchell has left an indelible mark on the franchise, the state of Indiana, and the entire WNBA.
doesn't mean insignificant. Locking Mitchell down is one of the biggest offseason moves, not because she was guaranteed to leave, but because of what her presence means for the Fever moving forward. Since being drafted in 2018, Mitchell has endured coaching changes, roster turnover, missed playoffs, and endless rebuilds. Yet, through it all, she remained consistent, showing up, putting in the work, and leading the team in scoring year after year. How many players would stay loyal to a team without a winning season in years? In an era where stars constantly move to chase championships, Mitchell's decision to stay speaks volumes about her belief in what Indiana is building. That belief wasn't always a given. As an unrestricted free agent, she had full control of her future. Unlike restricted free agents, no team could block her from leaving. And the rumors were loud. WNBA legend Candace Parker predicted she might walk, and we all remember Sheryl Swoopes' comments. Swoopes stirred the pot when she suggested that Fever players wanted out, implying potential locker room tension. Naturally, people speculated. Was she talking about Mitchell? Was there something happening behind the scenes?
People had mentioned Sheryl Swoopes, and it caused me to kind of chuckle a little bit, but it made me want to go back to some of the things Sheryl Swoopes said. And it's just kind of interesting seeing as Kelsey Mitchell, someone Sheryl Swoopes mentioned by name, has decided,
boy, there's a lot of other going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some new shit going on around there.
It's a lot. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
This is where I want to be.
Yeah. Now listen, there's a lot of play more.
But clearly, that wasn't the case. If Mitchell wanted out, she could have left. She didn't. That alone should end the speculation about the Fever's internal chemistry. Whatever issues may have existed, they weren't enough to push Mitchell away. That tells you something about where this team is headed. Now, let's dive into why this move is so important. Mitchell isn't just another player. She's the foundation of the Fever's offense. Last season, she averaged 19.2 points per game, shot 47% from the field, and hit 40% of her threes. Those aren't just good numbers, they're elite. Losing her would have left a massive hole that free agency likely couldn't have filled. But it's not just about her scoring. Mitchell has been one of the most durable players in the league, playing in 235 of a possible 240 games since 2018. That level of availability is rare and invaluable in a league where injuries can derail seasons. Then there's her fit with Caitlin Clark. This is where things get really interesting. The Fever drafting Clark with the #1 overall pick changed everything. Suddenly, Indiana went from being overlooked to must-watch basketball. Clark needs teammates who complement her strengths, and Mitchell is the perfect backcourt partner. Clark is a playmaker, a shot creator, and a passer who thrives with the ball. Mitchell, meanwhile, is an elite off-ball scorer who doesn't need to dominate possessions. She spaces the floor, moves without the ball, and punishes defenses that focus too much on Clark. Defenses will throw everything at Clark: double teams, top defenders, traps. But with Mitchell spacing the floor, they'll have to pick their poison. And it's not just about Mitchell. Aaliyah Boston, the reigning Rookie of the Year, is a dominant post presence and defensive force. With Mitchell on the perimeter, Clark running point, and Boston in the paint, the Fever have a legitimate core. But let's be real, they're not title contenders yet. There's still work to do. The Fever need a true power forward to round out the starting lineup, someone who can rebound, defend, and stretch the floor. They also need bench depth. Championship teams don't just have stars, they have role players who step up when needed. That's why re-signing Mitchell was step one. You can't build a contender if you're constantly losing your best players. The reaction to this move has been huge. Caitlin Clark's response?
Duh.
That says it all. Aaliyah Boston was just as enthusiastic, and even Fever GM Amber Cox emphasized how important this was for the franchise. And it's not just Indiana taking notice, the entire WNBA is. Even the Indiana Pacers, an NBA team, acknowledged Mitchell's return. Would an NBA franchise have celebrated a WNBA free agent signing a year ago? Probably not. That's how much things are changing. Mitchell's return solidifies Indiana as one of the most exciting teams heading into 2025. They're not just a young team with potential anymore. They're a team with stars who are staying put, building momentum, and just a few moves away from contention. So, what's next? Can the Fever make the leap into playoff contention? Are they ready to challenge the league's best teams? And more importantly, is this the beginning of something special in Indiana? Now that we've covered why Mitchell re-signing is a huge deal, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. For years, the Fever were stuck in rebuilding mode. They had talent, but no direction. Coaching changes, constant roster turnover, and missed playoffs were the norm. But the moment they drafted Clark, everything changed. This isn't about hoping for the best anymore. It's about building a true contender. Mitchell's return isn't just about keeping a star. It's about making life easier for her teammates. Her presence opens up the offense, forces defenses to stay honest, and gives Clark and Boston room to thrive. And her ability to run the floor in transition perfectly complements Clark's up-tempo style. But the work isn't done. To take the next step, they need that missing piece at power forward, better bench depth, and time to build chemistry. One thing is clear. Indiana is no longer in rebuild mode. They have expectations now. They have a superstar rookie, an elite veteran, and a dominant post presence. That's the foundation of a championship team. Social media exploded after the news dropped. Clark and Boston's reaction said it all. Even the Fever's front office made it clear how much this meant to the organization. And the Pacers acknowledging it proves the Fever are starting to demand real respect. This is about more than one player staying. It's about the Fever officially becoming a team to take seriously. Are they title contenders yet? Probably not. But can they be a top 4 team? Absolutely. And that's great for the WNBA. The league needs fresh, exciting teams rising up. So now, all eyes are on Indiana. They have the talent, the momentum, and the support. The question is, can they take the next step? Mitchell's decision to stay suggests the answer is yes. What do you think? Was this the right move for Kelsey? Does this make the Fever a playoff lock? And what's next for the squad? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications.